one. Perfect. Yeah, let's definitely talk about Ennis Brown versus Maxwell. I saw that fight. That was nasty, mate. That was nasty.
Are we up in it? We're live in it.
Yeah, let me just send the link out. Arsenal announced Willian has left the club. Fuck. Jesus Christ.
I just see Dan James has gone from United. I'm chuffed about that. And we got that, and I've heard 30 M's. That's crazy.
I can't even talk about football. Why did I even bring football up? I'm mad depressed.
I'm just hoping we can get rid of Phil Jones. If they want for free, whoever took Dan James can take Phil Jones for free as far as concerned.
Phil Jones ain't leaving.
Hey,
fucking leaving!
He's actually refusing.
He didn't even want to give Varane his number, bro.
All my friends that support Arsenal have been drinking beer this summer, man.
Just turned into raging alcoholics.
Facts.
That's hilarious. How is Jones still there? Go Getter says, how is Jones still there? I don't know, Go Getter. You tell us. You tell us how Phil Jones is still there. I even forgot that he was a player. Like, honestly. Seriously. Cool. All right.
Do we need to announce that we're gonna start doing Sundays?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. So,
and then big up you, man, with the tweets. Like, every time I pop up, I see they're keeping it busy there.
You have to, innit? With these accounts, just trying to get the interactions going and stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Cool. Hello, welcome to another Ringside Fracas. My name is Lewis. Welcome back, gentlemen. Welcome back, everyone. We've had a brief hiatus. Just the boxing scene's got a bit dead, so we thought we'd take a little break. We were going full pelt for quite a while. Everyone's got to have a rest. Everyone's got to have a holiday. Sam, where did you go?
I can't lie. I had to take a little hiatus. Just had to recoup.
Where did you go? Bahamas? Like, where did you go? What destination?
I've been cooped up, man. PBC went down bad with Spence, and I went down basically.
So I'm trying to recoup everyone. The president.
Obviously, we got the president's PBC Samps. We got Naeem. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Seeing better days, but it is what it is. And we got Dapo as well. That do-rag looking very tight, man.
Do-rag's there. Well, if you want to miss right now, it's the flipping.
It looks very secure. That do-rag looks very secure, I have to admit. It's not going to fall off when you're sleeping or anything. It's just very, very secure. I respect the way that you've tied it. But, guys, a few quick announcements. Listen, we're recording on a Monday, right? Now, that's not going to make much sense to the announcement that I'm about to make to you. But we're going to be changing the day that we're recording, okay? So we're going to start recording on Sunday evenings, which means that every Sunday evening you'll be able to join us live. I know there probably ain't going to be much people joining live for this one because you're just used to us recording on a Thursday night. So sorry for the lack of the heads up, but Sunday nights are going to be where you can find us. So when you do listen to this on your tomorrow morning or wherever it is that you listen to it, just bear that in mind. So we will be starting that from this Sunday. It's just going to give us, a much better chance just to do recaps of the fights, rather than waiting all week and everyone's already done the reaction and we're just sort of like left with the leftovers. You know what I mean? So, from this Sunday, we're going to be maybe even recorded from a studio. Who knows? We'll decide, right? We'll decide. But anyway, guys, look, there's lots to catch up on. I want to start with the UK fights from the weekend, actually. Chris Andre, big up you, man.
Yes.
Chris Andre actually did a really good video on the fights at the weekend, and so check out his YouTube channel. Actually, he did a really good breakdown of the Yard fight. Big up you, Chris. Guys, let's talk. I want to start off with the Yard. Actually, we can do a brief little segment on it. Obviously, rematch now announced with Lyndon Arthur, which is going to be in 5 weeks, I believe. They're going to be doing it in Birmingham. Obviously Lyndon's got that home, that home advantage now. in his corner. But yeah, just general thoughts on Yard's matchup and the caliber of opponent that he faced. Naeem, any thoughts on that?
I watched I didn't watch it live, but I watched clips and the highlights of it after, and the guy didn't look. The guy they fought, I forgot his name now. I think it was Theran or something, Alex Theran.
Ferran, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't of a great caliber. If you just watch the fight, you look at Yard and you think, okay, Yard looks all right, but this isn't the type of fight where you're going into a guy that beat you, Lyndon Arthur beat him, and you're going back into that fight, and this fight doesn't look good for him because it was just one round. The guy didn't look like he wanted to be there. And I remember we were having a talk about his building experience because Yard doesn't have that much experience. That's why he's fighting these type of guys. But these type of fights, people look at them. It doesn't build you as a fighter. Also for audiences, you look at it and you go, "Why was I here? Is that it? Is that it to the performance?" So it wasn't really great for Yard. But we move on. He moves on to the rematch, and I hope to see what he proves because he didn't prove anything to me in this weekend. So
yeah. There's not much to say about the actual fight. We're not going to learn anything about Anthony, and I think even Anthony, obviously we've had him on the pod. I don't think he would say anything different himself. I don't think he's really proven anything other than anything that we already know about him from this fight. But Sam's just looking forward to this Lyndon rematch. Would you have liked to seen him face someone with a bit more I want to say credibility. I don't want to shit on this geezer. I haven't heard of him, but he's he was like a Latin champion. I think he was. I'm not too sure what that means, but would you have liked to seen him with someone a bit more reputable and obviously someone who was going to give him a bit more rounds?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he would say himself he probably wanted to go out there and get a couple of rounds on his belt just so he can shake off some cobwebs. It's been quite a while since his last fought, isn't it? Lyndon Arthur last year now, isn't it? So just shaking off some ring rust and getting himself sharpening his tools, knowing that he's got this big rematch in 5 weeks, as you said. Definitely would have liked to see him get some rounds in, see what he's learned, what he's picked up so far with his new trainer, and how he basically plans to then go forward and beat Lyndon Arthur. We didn't get to see none of that, and I'm sure he's probably had harder work in the gym, so it was a bit much of nothing. But yeah, for the rematch, I'm sure he's geared up. He looks like he's locked in and loaded, isn't it? Really and truly, even though we didn't get to see any of that on the day, I do feel like he's really been honed in and it's just been his sole mission is to take out Arthur in emphatic style. So we'll get to see it in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's something that I can never doubt Anthony with, and that's his mentality and just his drive to be the best. His mentality is second to none, and he seems to be in great mental shape. Dapo, is there just looking forward to this Lyndon fight now? Is there anything that you have seen in the interviews with Yard, any of the media coverage that makes you think that he is approaching this fight any differently to the way that he approached the first one?
I think now that he's lost, it makes a massive difference. Obviously, before going to the first fight, this was a fighter that he hadn't, fought before, he hasn't lost to, and also he was the favorite going to the fight as well. Mm-hmm. So I think a fighter going into a fight with a chip on their shoulder makes a massive difference. I've also been watching his interviews as well as Tunde's interviews, and I just feel a new sense of focusness from that camp. Although I would have loved to see him go rounds with a fighter prior to this Lyndon rematch, because I don't feel like he's had enough time in the ring straight after that loss to kind of get his wits back together and just be hyper focused for the rematch. But the mentality for me is there. He's tired of kind of reliving what happened through that fight and explaining to interviewers if he thought he won or not. He's past that now. And I think the whole camp now is just focused on getting the job done. And I genuinely think he's going to stop Lyndon this time around, just because of the mental side of things and how I see the loss. I feel like he feels like this is a fight I shouldn't have lost to. So yeah, we're gonna see what he's really made out of when this fight comes, and I'm really excited because he's ticking all the boxes in what he's saying, but unfortunately for me, he hasn't shown me that in the ring. Only because of the level of opponent he faced. Nothing to do with him. You can only fight who you put in front of him. But the mental side of it, what he's saying, it's ticked for me personally. But we'll see when it comes fight night. Lyndon looks focused as well. You know, I'm glad he's taking the rematch. I was kind of worried that he might have been doing a bit of, you know, but yeah, man.
He was swerving at that.
Yeah,
I think there's only so long that you can swerve it for, and I think maybe the plan for Lyndon was to, you know, go off and, you know, have a few paydays before you come back to the rematch. For some, you know, for one reason or another, that hasn't quite happened. You know, we can talk a little bit about, you know, Frank Warren's, but we don't want to get sued. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's maybe a few things there that, you know, maybe he could have taken advantage of, and it hasn't quite come to fruition. So I guess the next best thing now is he thought, well, you know, I haven't got what maybe, if you're looking at Lyndon Arthur based off of that victory, he should have gone on and done something a little bit more, don't you think? Like, you know, I don't know if he would have been primed for a world title shot, but, you know, a bigger fight, at least, you know, a money maker. But they haven't quite managed to get him that. So I'm not too sure why that is. Has Lyndon had any injuries? Or
I think he was tied up in it. I don't think he was allowed to. From what I understand, it sounded like there was a rematch clause, so effectively that's what's taking place.
Right. Okay. I didn't realize there was a rematch clause.
Yeah, I saw an interview with Yard, and effectively he said, "Thank God there was a rematch clause because he would have swerved it otherwise." And rematch clause is why they have to take the fight. He said that
Lyndon's been talking like it was his choice to fight him again or not. So,
where I don't think
that's what I was getting from it as well.
Yeah,
but
I don't think
that was the case, especially from what Yard said about his trainer. He said he came around and basically said, "Well, we've beaten you now, so we're gonna go off and do our thing." And then we can in the future.
Maybe they didn't know there was a rematch clause in the contract. I mean, you would imagine that's something that you would have
like checked over.
yeah. But I can't imagine that's the case.
We've just seen the whole Wilder Fury situation, so who knows?
True. Who knows what's going on in boxing anymore? Just last bit on this. I want to get some early predictions actually for this fight. Obviously, we can revise them as time goes on. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being wrong, and you don't have to be wrong and strong either. But you're not revising it. Go on, Samps. What we saying?
6 rounds KO, straight KO.
Yard?
Yep, of course, yeah. So I think Lyndon knows it, like he saw enough in the 10th or was it 11th?
Yeah, the 11th and 12th. Yeah,
to know that this is gonna be a long night for him. Yeah, he's got a fantastic jab, and everyone raves on about his jab. But mate, at the end of the day, we didn't see a Yard that we would normally see it, and an aggressive Yard stops him. As Travis from Undefeated podcast said to him, "You're getting stopped," and I think he knows it. And I feel like even the way he reacted to it, you can tell he's rattled because he knows that this guy's peak. If he steps on it and tries to like push the point, probably getting stopped. So
yeah, big up Travis from Undefeated Pod. I love their pod. We're not trying to step on your toes on a Monday night, guys. With Sunday nights only. Yeah. Naeem, what about yourself?
I probably think Yard decision. I think Lyndon is tough.
So you think it's going distance, yeah?
Yeah, I think he'll get hurt early on, but then he'll make it to the bell. But I think Yard will focus up and he'll make the improvements he has to make. He's a better natural talent than Lyndon is.
Question then: do you think the fact that it is in Birmingham would pay any would have any impact on the cards if it were to go to a decision?
I think Yard's the more marketable fighter and he's the star, so it doesn't matter because it's a Frank Warren show. Frank, if anyone's going to get robbed, it will be
Lyndon,
because Yard's the more marketable guy. That's the guy that you can get more money out of. So,
Dapo, what about yourself? You already said you think
Lyndon stops him late.
Oh, you think Lyndon stops him late? Okay, I thought you said that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say, right? You did some YouTube, right?
Please.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking, right, Dapo's a snake, no,
I'm turning to a listener now. When you guys start talking, the pod is so good. I'm turning to a listener myself when you're talking. So. No, but my bad. Yeah, I think Arthur stops him late. I'm saying Arthur. I think
Yeah, bro, is this what you actually really feel? It's all right if you do, you know. It's all right. It's all right.
I think Yard starts him late, all right? Anthony Yard starts him late. Around 10, 11.
Okay, late stoppage. Interesting. So there's a wide variety of opinions there. I actually agree with Dapo. I think it'll be late-ish. Yeah. I think it will be something that, you know, I think Lyndon's quite tough, and he's, you know, I think he'll probably be quite durable for the, you know, for the first. I think Anthony will come out of the blocks really fast.
That's why.
Yeah, it could be, but I think what will happen is maybe it'll be more of a, you know, a slow death kind of thing. But
Lyndon will definitely win rounds.
Yeah,
I don't think so. You know,
Oh, really?
Because when you look at that fight, yeah, he used his jab to control him, but Anthony kind of went in there to box with him a bit, where he tried to, where you can see he was holding himself back. I think all the noise from outside potentially got to his head in terms of how he should approach that fight. So he was being reserved. He was trying to box. He was thinking about the distance and so forth. And the way he's been talking with this, I'm gonna go in there and tear a man's head off attitude. Yeah. I don't see someone taking that kind of sustained pressure that we saw in round 12 from the jump for longer than 6 rounds. As durable as you are and as good as you are with your jab, if someone's coming at you and you're not even getting your right hand off, mate, it's curse. And I don't believe for a second he had any issues with his physical right hand. I think he just didn't want to throw the right hand because he's going to get counted.
Yeah. We're never going to know the truth about that, right? Like this it's up in the air a bit. But listen, that's going to be a great fight, man. And we only have to wait 5 weeks for it as well. So
if you can get him on before.
Yeah, I'll try and see. And see if we can get him on. The other, you know, there were a couple interesting other fights on that card. Obviously, we saw was it Sam Maxwell against Akeem Menace-Brown. That was obviously had a lot of hype before the card, you know, a lot of animosity between those two. And having seen, you know, I watched the fight live. I watched Ringside actually. Yeah, lucky.
Ringside.
Yeah, it was only at the Birmingham Arena, man. Trust me, everyone was ringside at that place. So, yeah, it wasn't you know, it wasn't anything too crazy, but yeah, I couldn't believe the scorecards. You know, just watching it ringside, it just looked like an, you know, quite a easy victory for Akeem Menace-Brown. Like, obviously, like in terms of style, it wasn't a nice fight to watch. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't. And, you know, I was trying to explain, I was there with my missus. I was trying to explain to her, like, she was like, oh, why, you know, like, why are none of the punches, you know, having a real impact on them? And it's, you know, neither of them seem to really carry any power. Sorry. And Akeem Menace-Brown's got, you know, a bit of a scrappy way of fighting. I don't want to be too mean on him, but, you know, it's not too aesthetically pleasing. Is what I'm trying to say. But for me, I felt like Akeem was doing all of the pressure work. He was landing the best shots. Obviously, I couldn't really see like the damage that was happening too tough, but it looked like Sam Maxwell had, you know, took quite a lot of damage in the fight as well. So yeah, for me, I just couldn't understand the scorecards. I even looked at the in-play betting odds just before the round 12 finished. And the bookies had Akeem Menace-Brown way ahead as well, you know. So when that happens, you know it's going against the run of play. You know, from time the bookies odds are that far out. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, Naeem, I'm guessing you watched the fight.
I watched it again, highlights, because I was busy during that time. But yeah, I watched highlights.
Sorry, Naeem.
It was a Saturday night, guys.
Yeah. So what did you think of the decision then?
Like, I thought Akeem Menace-Brown won, but I wasn't surprised that Maxwell got the decision, because I think Maxwell's that type of guy, again, from Frank Warren's stable. He's that marketable guy, because I think he had that fight, I think it was like 2 fights ago or something, where I think you guys will seen clips where he got dominated, the guy was showboating, and then he stopped him in like the last round. So I think based off of that, Maxwell was riding that hype and, you know, all that, you know, he's that marketability. I think that's what got him the fight. A lot of times now in boxing, we'll come in a crap. That's the crap thing about boxing. Crap reality is the more marketable fighter has more chance of winning. That's what people said about, you know, Canelo Golovkin, the fights. You know, Canelo already went in there with like 7 rounds to his name. Same thing here. It's like the more marketable guy will come in with more rounds to their name, regardless if they win it or not. But as the fight wasn't great to watch, but Akeem won. And these two, I think, if you look at them, they're not going to do that great at the top levels of 140. That's no disrespect to them. It's just the top levels of 140 is clear. Like, Josh Taylor, Regis Progress, Ramirez. But they can do decently against the top guys. But again, these are those types of decisions. If you show someone a casual, who do you think won? They'll say Akeem Ennis Brown. They'll be shocked that Sam Maxwell got the decision. So yeah, really great for boxing.
Yeah, it is interesting there that you mentioned the quality level. I mean, I did think the quality was like, I don't even think they could even challenge like an OD. I think they're way below top level domestic as well. I don't think
Ohio Davis is a good level.
Yeah. He is, but he obviously not JT and
that's something. When they get to the top level, then they won't come up well. But they still British level, they're good, and this was a good British level fight going into it. But the scorecard wasn't great to see.
No.
We keep seeing this time and time again. It's one of them ones we keep talking about it, but more action has to be done than talking about it at this point.
Yeah. Dapo, did you see the fight as well?
Yeah, I watched the highlights. I didn't catch it live.
You didn't catch it live. Is it a rematch that you would be interested in seeing?
Like you guys have both said, aesthetically, it's not a fight that I was engrossed in, and I wasn't like entertained in terms of what I'm watching and the technicality of things. It was quite a scrappy fight, quite a rough fight, but I would want to see a rematch only because I guess Ennis Brown probably feels like he's been robbed, and I hope he feels that way. And I'm always interested to see how fighters approach rematches when they feel like they should have won a fight. So on that reason alone, I will definitely want to see a rematch, but not for anything else because I didn't really enjoy the fight, to be honest with you.
What about you, Sams?
I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't personally care to watch the rematch. That was a hard watch, man. Like, the only thing about that was like memorable about the fight was the robbery, because literally was, in my opinion, I know you got a bad cut on Max Ennis Brown in it, and I was like, did they give it to him because of that? I just didn't understand that because his style was very, I can't call it Olympic style, but it was like tag boxing, if you can say, where it's just pot. He was just pot shotting and moving and pushing and moving, but he won't do anything to damage his fight, to damage Maxwell. But Maxwell wasn't doing nothing at all. So much of a, what the hell am I watching? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was
much
really
about nothing.
I can't lie to you, but it was like, okay, cool. At least he wins this fight. And Maxwell, Ennis Brown, has had no backing in his whole career. Like, so effectively, he's the guy who's done it the hard way. He's kind of come up through the ranking and so forth. So it's like, you know what? Well done. At least you progress and you've kind of got your name on the map a bit more. Then they robbed him. I was like, oh shit. Like, did they rob you because they didn't like your style? Like, it was bad. Like,
yeah. The best performance on the night, I don't know if you guys saw this fight, but it was from Anthony Kakachi. I don't know if you saw him. He fought Leon Woodstock. No, you didn't catch it. It might have been on after the coverage had finished. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that was probably one of the best performances of the night. Actually, he popped Leon Woodstock's face off. Really, he was brilliant. Really, really good fighter. I think he's Irish actually. It'd be interesting to see what he can do going forward. I think he's. I think it was like welter, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't actually know what weight it was. I think it was welter. But yeah, he was really good. Any other fights from that card that you wanna talk about?
Nah.
No. It wasn't a great card.
You went to the event, right? So what was the main event? Because going into it,
I don't know.
I thought Ennis Brown was the
same, but they were fighting at like 7:30.
Yeah,
it was weird.
So confused.
It was weird. They had like
exactly.
They had Akeem Ennis Brown at like 7:30 or something, and then Yard fought at about 8:30. Was it about 9:30? Was it?
Yeah, it was 9:30.
Yeah, was it 9:30? Right, yeah. Maybe Akeem Ennis Brown was about 8:30 then, Yard was 9:30, and then they had a couple more fights. I think the main guy who was fighting, the whole crowd there was a guy called Nathan Healy. He was a fighter from Stoke who put on quite a good performance as well, but the whole crowd was literally there for him. So I think maybe they put him on late because they knew, they were going to attract them. And once all the Stoke fans had left, there'd be no one in the arena to watch the rest of the fights, which there wasn't for this Anthony Kakachi fight and Leon Woodstock. I think that was supposed to be the headliner, I guess, because that was the last fight. And it was on, it was on headlined. It was on, on the promo card and all of that. It wasn't just a filler or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, man. There were
sipping on some juice, fam.
I mean, the only really, reputable fighter on the card was obviously, Anthony, and he was like third from last fight. So I'm not too sure, man.
You guys been catching some buzz from. He was on the Bogdan Dubois card.
Yeah, he is decent. He is decent, and he seems like a bit of like a Josh Warrington kind of thing,
fighter,
where where he's got like the whole backing of a town. Yeah, honestly, there were so many Stoke fans. Yeah. They created a really good atmosphere. A bit intense and a bit, I can't lie, I was a bit intimidated, right? I was a bit, hold me out kind of thing. I'd have your guard up, especially with these football hooligans. Nothing. Actually, I do have a lot against Stoke fans, but I'll get onto it in another podcast. But they don't seem like the nicest bunch. But I mean, they created a good atmosphere. I think without them, the event would have been empty.
Essentially, no crowd.
Yeah, basically another COVID fight. So, but yeah, let's move on then. More UK boxing. This weekend, we've got a few. Actually, no, we haven't talked about Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois. Did you guys catch that fight?
The one this week, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, I did catch that fight. Daniel Dubois was in the ring with a pizzeria man and knocked him out in 20 seconds.
Oh, brilliant! So wait, was it a quicker knockout than the one Yard did, or was it slightly longer?
Probably around the same time.
Really? Interesting. It is frustrating.
The guy fought back. He tried, didn't it? He tried to fight back.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It is frustrating because when these guys, like, another part of the reason I want to see, like, Anthony with, someone maybe a little bit with a bit more pedigree was the fact that, he obviously he's had this coaching change and you're eager to see the implementations that a fighter has made. And obviously we know Daniel Dubois has also had a recent coaching change with Shane McGuigan. So I wanted to see what they had been working on, I didn't even bother watching it after I found out that it was, over in like a round. I didn't even bother, watching it. So
it's confusing. I don't understand how Daniel Dubois is supposed to be, like how they're trying to build him. Because from what I can see, I feel like he's going to go down the trajectory, which is what he already went through. Fight a bunch of guys, knock them all out, fight a good fight out, and then get stopped.
But you're missing those that he's doing in the US now. They're trying to tap the American market, isn't it? So
I get tapping the market and being marketable and stuff like that, but you have to also look at the progression from a fighter's standpoint of actually getting better.
Maybe it was just a confidence thing.
First fight in America, and they want to kind of go there and show a British heavyweight. That's stopping people. So
yeah, you're probably starting clean slate in America, aren't you? Like they're not going to know who he is.
Yeah.
I don't mind this fight, but as long as he gets like 2 more fights by the end of the year, go ahead. Like, if it's a stay busy fight and just gets your US debut out there, good. But I don't act like it was a good win, in that sense.
Is there a particular level of opponent you would like to see him fight? Or maybe even a particular fighter you'd like to see Dubois fight next? Maybe as like a good yardstick to see where he actually is.
I do want to see him fight that Trevor Bryan guy.
Yeah,
that's a good shot.
10 to top 20. That level would test.
You have to remember he fought Joe Joyce, so really and truly, you're saying by fighting Joe Joyce, who is basically a mandatory for agents and co, that you are right there at the top of the field. So yeah, you're right. Top 10 to top 20 makes sense. Like you need to be fighting in amongst that mix if you are claiming that you're one of the guys that can really challenge these people.
Yeah, but I don't even think he's even in that space right now because they asked him at the end of the fight, like, who do you want to fight next and stuff. And he was just he's saying all the right things, but it's not like I can tell that Joyce's loss has taken a lot of confidence out of him because he wasn't really naming anyone or trying to talk about, his aspirations. He was just like, oh, just bring them and I'll fight them. But it's like, in a way of just whatever in it, I'll fight. But
I can't lie, I understand what you're saying that, yeah, but from observation of how he is, I don't think he really quite narrates himself.
He had a bit of a pep in his step back in the days, man. Like, he was calling people out. He called Joyce out after the fight.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough.
People out. But like now, it's just like, well, it's natural, right? You lose a fight, you don't really know where you belong in a division. It is what it is.
Yeah, he didn't lose. Like people accused him quitting. That's a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot to take.
I think there could be a concoction of things here going. I think it was important that Dubois gets his confidence back. Number one, I think maybe we underestimate. He was under a lot of a lot of scrutiny in that fight. A lot of people were saying, this is a big step up for him. Joe Joyce is very well seasoned, obviously been around the game for a long time in an amateur game, and he's 23. Man. Joe Joyce is like good 10 years older than him, 12 years older than him. Do you know what I mean? So, there was a lot on Daniel Dubois' shoulders for that fight, and then obviously with the fallout from the fight, where he was getting criticized for quitting, and there was a massive thing about. I think we went into it. We showed like the media reaction in comparison to Billy Joe, and in comparison to Daniel Dubois, and it just wasn't the same, right? I don't think anyone could argue about that. So he's been through a lot. So maybe his confidence just taken a bit of a knock. Yeah. And maybe going back to the drawing board and building your confidence up first, and going through the technicalities of things, and working on things on a more individual level might be a good strategy for him. So we'll see. Anyway, these things we'll tell with time, right? So it's
gonna come good. Like he's under Shane, he's sparring with McCauley and co. So that as well.
Yeah,
that's. If you've got a Coley that you're sparring with on a daily basis as well, you're gonna come good.
Yeah, and Shane McGuigan was like, he's never. I know he's probably gonna say stuff like this, right? It's all part of the confidence thing I was just talking about. But he was saying, he's never seen anything in sparring like it, where they're literally lining people up for him to knock out in sparring.
That's true. That's actually true.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine.
That's a coach, so he's got fighters that go down there as well. So I know that guy's not playing the Batman. I heard he's like, from what I've heard, when it comes to like boxing and he's training, he's ruthless.
I can imagine, man. I can imagine.
Sparring.
He don't leave the gym either. It's like he don't have a personal life outside of boxing.
No, I'm being serious. He hasn't got a smartphone.
I'm still rolling around a Nokia 3210.
I'm being dead serious. He's not a lad.
That's hilarious. You've just started a mad rumor there that Daniel Dubois don't have a phone room. Like that's.
I can imagine him having a phone. Pretty kind of
serious. Your thing is not a rumor.
That's a mad rumor, Imagine someone making up a rumor that you don't have a mobile phone. That's nuts,
That's free. I'm not seeing Twitter. I'm not seeing Snapchat. It's not.
To be fair, that's probably a good thing. To be fair, let's move on to the weekend then, because we've got a couple big fights. Conor Benn back in action against Adrian Granados.
Crashing it in the gym.
Crashing it in the gym. I'm first to last there.
leave the impressions to Travis, yeah. We'll get an impression that you're actually good at, and we'll do something with it. Yeah. We'll but keep doing them, so we can actually find out the one that.
See how the white man comes back.
I'm just trying to give you confidence, man. I'm just trying to give you confidence. Sorry. He's fighting Adrian Granados. Eddie Hearn is building this fight up as like it's a massive step up. Just is it quite that,
similar level, man, to Vargas?
Is it a similar level? Or could there be an argument that Vargas is actually better than Granados?
Yeah. I'd say so. Like,
who was Granados' last victory against of note? I mean, I don't even think I could.
No one.
No one, right? I mean, he's most well known for the defeats against Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and
Spence.
Adrian Broner. Did Spence beat him as well?
Yeah, Spence stopped him as well.
Okay, I didn't know Spence stopped him. But yeah, I don't think Spence stopped him, you know.
Did you not?
No.
Have I got it up?
Yeah, you fucked up. You fucked up. Yeah, you
Fuck.
fucked up. Robert Easter Jr. beat him.
Yeah.
But no,
He's just
no,
a feeder, isn't it? Like you feed him to the top guys and make quick work of it.
Yeah. Well, he's only been stopped by Danny Garcia. So
Danny Garcia spun him in it. Like,
yeah. But everyone else went distance with him. So potentially, and he got split decision. If you remember, he actually got a split decision defeat against Broner.
Yeah, but that guy.
Like 4 or 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago. So potentially this guy could be durable, but I'm always wary about these guys who come in for a payday, and I'm sure he's going to get paid handsomely for this fight, and I just wary about them. A bit like Samuel Vargas, really. How long are they going to last in the ring when the tough gets going? But yeah, a name for you. How big a step up is this fight for Conor Benn? If what are you looking for Benn in this fight?
It's not really a step up, but it's that thing because he doesn't have that much experience, amateur experience. Like he only had I think it was 20 fights or something. So for him, it's just building up his profile, that pay-per-view star status. They're trying to get him to build up the highlight reel, and because now it's to be fair, the COVID situation worked out for him because now he's in a stadium. I think it's the Leeds Stadium they're fighting at.
Yeah.
So bigger crowd. You get
Headingley Rugby Stadium.
Oh, so Rugby Stadium, yeah. So that big crowd, if he gets a knockout, a lot of people take more notice of him, and Eddie's trying to get him to that point where he can headline pay-per-views on his own. But again, this is all just experience, and hopefully we get to see him go a few more rounds than one round, and we get to see him break down Granados slowly and torch him. That's a bit mad.
Dark.
Yeah. But what I mean?
Torture him. Oh.
What you watching boxing for? You like boxing a bit too much now, you man.
Did you see his eyes went wide? I torture him.
Break him down.
What I like about what they're doing with Ben is that they're following the commercial route rather than the actual boxing accomplishment route. Because let's be honest, man, Ben is limited. I'm still dying on my sword here and saying he's limited. And
you've not been impressed by his improvements?
Yeah, I have been.
Yeah, but Sam thought he was absolute dog shit before. So him improving is a massive deal.
But in saying that, you can look good against the right opponents, and you can keep doing that, to the point where you're forced to now go and fight somebody that's going to take your head off. Have you already heard that they've absolutely hammered Amir Khan's door, yeah? And that guy just keep putting all the bolts up and saying, "Fuck off, I don't want nothing." Now he said, "All right, cool, no worries."
He's gonna fight Kell Brook, innit?
Adrian Broner, come on over here. It makes so much sense. You're going to keep fighting these big names that look good, but they're far safer than all the top opposition. And any of those guys
making more money as well.
Yeah, it would. Adrian Broner is probably a bigger draw than a bigger check than he'll get.
He's not gonna fight Venetian and them, man.
That's what I'm saying. Ennis, or Ortiz. I'll rather take Broner as well. Someone that's drinking and doing flipping rap career. Give me him all day long. Don't give me no flipping Ennis boots that's out here doing the madness, or give me Ortiz that's stopping guys. No, thank you. Absolutely get them the hell away from me. I'm gonna say their names, so it looks like I'm about it. But Adrian Broner, you come here, please.
Yeah.
That's on the Kelly fight, yeah. Because even though Kelly's not great, he's still at a level where I think he's better than Ben. And now, if they fought, I still think Kelly would beat him. And that's the
interesting. But there doesn't seem to be, everyone seemed to kind of Conor Benn has kind of skipped. He went for, I think Sams is right, yeah, because there was a part of Conor Benn's career that looked like he was just right. Maybe find a new occupation, lad. Right, maybe this boxing thing isn't quite for you. But then he just, skipped a few steps, and now all of a sudden he's world level.
Yeah.
And it does feel like he is
no actual credentials.
Yeah, and it does feel like they're pushing him in that direction. So maybe they do need to put the reins on it a bit.
I call it the matchroom belt.
It's the matchroom belt.
The matchroom belt. It's what they did with what they did with Dylan White. When they started talking about all these mandatories, he said, "Fuck that! I want to go and fight." Who's it? We went to go and fight. Oh, I forgot the guy's name, man.
Marius Fact.
No, not Who was the guy that went to go and fight that wasn't a mandatory? That
Lucas Brown.
Yeah, Lucas Brown. Lucas Brown, one of them. He went to fight Rivas. Okay, but then actually Rivas got nominated as a mandatory. But he picked his own route that builds his name up really well commercially. But in terms of governing bodies, you're literally going against what they're saying. Do you get what I'm saying? So, fair enough. Like, it makes you money. You get pay-per-view. Like, the British public love you and so forth, so forth. You get all the accolades in that regards. But as actual boxing purists, you realize, hold up a second. Why are you not fighting this guy, that actually is a real test that we would like?
He's therefore skipping routes.
Yeah, you're skipping it. Fuck that. Give me that long.
What's so I'm assuming we're all thinking Conor Benn's gonna. Although I think it's probably gonna be. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I was gonna say I feel like it's gonna be a tough fight, but I just don't know how these guys are gonna travel over it. I have no idea what kind of shape or mentality Granados is in, so I'm not even gonna make a prediction on his. Granados.
Probably rusty as hell, no?
Probably. Let's see. He last fought in May. Oh, okay. So 3 months. Yeah, 3 months ago. Got the majority draw.
Against who?
Jose Luis Sanchez.
Nobody.
No idea, mate. No idea. Yeah, but like we said, we couldn't. I don't think we could even. None of us could name anyone that Granados has beaten, right? So, if in the extreme likely event that Conor Benn does win, you've mentioned some names there, Naeem, about Josh Taylor, but what do we think is the most likely fight to happen next for Conor Benn? Is it an Amir Khan? Is it that's the fight Eddie wants to make, right?
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah. It makes sense financially for everyone.
I think Eddie. Sorry, I'm jumping in, guys.
No. I think he gets Broner. I'm just saying that I think he gets Broner.
You think he gets Broner?
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm 100% watching it just purely for even the build up. I'm tuned all the way in. I feel that.
Broner probably throw no punches, but I'll still watch it.
No punches for 9 rounds, and then box Conor Benn's face off.
That last Broner fight that I watched.
The funny bit is, if Broner even steps up a little bit, I think he could actually cause Ben problems. He's still, if you look at their peaks, one is still very, very much far removed from the other.
In terms of what they've accomplished in the game. Yeah, 100%. Obviously, another. Well, we were talking about rematches earlier. We got the first of the rematches this week. We've got Josh Warrington against Mauricio Lara. I just had a look at the boxing at the betting odds, as I like to do ahead of these fights. Very interested to see Warrington is the favorite, especially after Warrington's the favorite.
Lara
it's
gets
close.
6 rounds.
It's close, but I was very surprised to see, especially after how the first fight went, because it's not like obviously we've got these rematches coming up now. We've obviously got Deontay against Tyson Fury. We've got Anthony Yarde against Lyndon Arthur. All of them things have one thing in common, right? We know the other person can bang, and we know that the other person can, the fighter who is trying to avenge, they can stop the other fighter, right? Yeah. Warrington doesn't have that in his arsenal to beat Lara, so I'm wondering how it could go any different. At least with Deontay Wilder, we could be like, hey, look, he might win. He could knock Tyson Fury out. That's not beyond the realms of possibilities. Anthony Yarde, we've all said, except for Naeem, we've all said that we expect Anthony Yarde to stop Lyndon Arthur. But we're not going to sit here and say we expect Warrington to stop Lara. So what is he going to do any differently in this fight that he couldn't do in the last one to make this result any different?
I'll box him. I think Lara wins.
I think Lara wins. The only thing I would say, right? we spoke about it earlier with the fans. Josh Warrington is 80% crowd. Honestly, with touchline Fracas football, we have this saying like 80% pep or something like that for a Man City player, like 80% like attacks basically. Warrington is that guy. I feel like he's the type of fighter that will go up levels just with like the crowd behind him. That crowd is going to be on Lara's ass. Because if you remember, the first fight was obviously a COVID fight. There was no crowd. And it was, I think that's the first time, obviously, Warrington. I think it's probably the first time in Warrington's career that he's not had a crowd. Warrington has always had a crowd. Man was doing like selling out Ellen Road or like 15,000 tickets for, after like 10 fights or something. It's ridiculous. This guy has always fought in front of a home crowd. And the first time he didn't, he looked way out of his depth. So I'm wondering if the crowd will have that kind of impact in. That's a real passion merchant thing to say, but it's boxing, man. I don't know how these...
What is that passion going to add to his arsenal?
That's what I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to understand.
Like in Dragon Ball Z, yeah, where Goku asks for everyone's energy and he cheats. So what's going to happen? What's he going to get from that to win this fight?
But maybe if it gives him 10% and brings Lara down 10%, maybe it swings to
English. That's what they're saying.
That's true.
That's
true.
Leeds fans aren't going to intimidate him. He's Mexican. He's been through it.
Fact.
My man's out here with the gringos and all them people.
The cabrons and them now, fam.
This is a holiday for him.
My man cares about a little.
Look at what, boy. You don't care about that.
A couple speak Carolinas and all them things. They ain't being bothered at all.
Yeah, Adil says passion makes you become invincible. Imagine your wife watching you scrap 5 geezers. You could take them easy just because of the passion.
No, the wife is
yeah. I don't know about that, man.
I can't lie. Lewis is saying I might have to re-break my betting ban again.
I like the odds on Lara. I really do. I think there's some really great value in the betting market this week. I do think. I'm going to again. I haven't seen Granada's fight, so I don't know. But I don't think he should be this heavier underdog against Conor Benn. I don't feel like the bookie odds are basically saying like Conor Benn's got like a 90-something% chance of winning. To me, that's absurd. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
don't think he wins that fight though.
I do think he wins, but I'm a value better. I always go if there's something that's I think has got 70% chance of happening, and the bookies have got it as 60%, I'll bet on it. Do you know what I mean? That's how I bet. But yeah, definitely having a bet on Lara this week, and I think that's a no-brainer, really and truly, because I just don't see how Warrington beats him unless the crowd has this effect that we can't really calculate. Then I just don't see anything technical. I don't see anything in his boxing.
Is there something I missed? Did anything come out about Warrington being like having some sort of hindrance to his performance that week? Because in that fight, to me,
just the crowd.
Lara caught Warrington, and it's like he realized, whoa, this guy's strong. This guy's got power, and just coward. Because you have to remember, he's a complete volume puncher. That's all he does. Like he just throws, overwhelms, and then he takes something he didn't like, and he just literally put like his arsenal right back into the safety. Like he just wasn't on it.
Yeah.
So I don't really see what he's gonna do, because if you try and overwhelms him, he's gonna get banged out. Like, unfortunately, he's gonna flown over a Mexican that carries bazookas. Yeah,
not the greatest, matchmaking there from. There's Matchroom, right?
Yeah, Matchroom is Eddie.
Yeah, Matchroom. Yeah. Matchroom. I can guess myself there. I didn't want to be cool. I didn't want to be accused of a Matchroom bunny. You know what I'm saying? But all right, cool. So we're all in agreement. What? Lara wins.
Yeah. I'll put him winning.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
How does he win though?
His team pulls him out.
Yeah.
I don't think they would pull him out.
I think they'll put him out.
I think it would go distance.
They're slow on that now.
I think it goes distance.
When a fight has been knocked out and then goes back in,
they're bare.
It's on the same kind of damage. They're like, it's just too far, mate.
Potentially, but I just think he's going to be at home in front of. I don't know how many people can get into the. Oh God, can't even type it. Yeah, I don't know how many people can get into that arena, but it's going to be rocking.
Is there anything that he can do? That does it? I haven't really seen.
I know what you're trying to say. You're skeptical, bro. You're man skeptical, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to see that. Is there something that Warrington can do? Can he?
Oh, okay.
Can he possibly outbox him? Like, is that? I've never seen him box him, move and box off the back foot. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
That's not him.
Attributes of things.
Nope, there's nothing he can do.
He outworks guys. That's how he is. He just outworks.
Volume.
Can't do that with this guy.
And you ain't gonna outwork this Lara guy. I don't think. All right, cool. Let's move on to other shit. So obviously right, what we got? Caleb Plant Canelo actually announced.
Yep. So
right.
You see, we back
right.
in business.
Sams, I'm gonna ask you a question, Sams. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yep.
Why did they not want to negotiate with Eddie?
I don't know, man. You know it is. You got this young boy, yeah, he's coming in the game talking a whole lot of shit, talking about, yeah, if you want to make money, come to me and all that stuff. And I think all the old boys have colluded. They've colluded and said, yeah, we're gonna try and run this guy out of town.
Blackball him, yeah?
Yeah, yes. That's what's happened. That's literally what's happened. They've worked, you can see they've worked together. You've got guys that hate each other like Aram and Heyman, basically colluding to fuck Eddie over. I saw a tweet the other day. Was it Tibbs that Eddie Hearn tweeted something, and he come back and said, "Yeah, my lung collapsed quicker than your USA Matchroom." Oh. And even replied laughing. I think he had the probably looked for fuck.
Yeah. It is an interesting perspective, though, right? Because obviously, I'm not too keen on this fight, but I guess it's just someone. It's just another. It gets to that point now. It's getting to that point now. Where Mayweather was going for that thing of like, oh yeah, oh it's this guy who can beat him. Oh no, it's this guy who can beat him. Oh no, this guy's got the blueprint. It just feels like now we're going through that stage of Canelo now. Oh, it could be this person because of this. It could be that person because of this. It could be this person because of that. No, Caleb Plant is just another person that people are potentially saying could cause Canelo some issues. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it. He's not a guy.
I don't see it. But the other perspective to this, obviously, is like, just listening to Eddie's comments on it and say that, they outright refused. Eddie said, if he was involved, this fight would not have been made. That is such a sorry state for boxing, man. Like, even if it's not a fight that we particularly are too keen to see or anything like that, but the fact that people just do not want to do business with another promoter because maybe they're worried about that promoter having a stranglehold over the business that's worrying times for boxing, man. It's worrying times.
You can say that, but another viewpoint might be, we don't trust Eddie to not fuck it up. Like he fucked up the other massive fight that was happening this year.
How could you fuck up Canelo?
I can't lie. I just want to.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That agenda ain't running. That agenda ain't running. A
couple of weeks that I've had
this guy's the president of BBC, fam. I'm telling you.
Nah, that agenda is not running. So
I had a bit of salt and pepper in there.
He didn't even believe it himself. That was nasty.
I've ever said something like that before.
That was nasty.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But trust him.
But it's
fuck it up.
How much of an impact then does this have for Eddie going forward? Because we know Canelo is one of his, along with AJ, you can even tell with the way Eddie talks about Canelo. He's so proud to be involved with everything that Canelo is doing. It's a big thing for him. It's a big thing for DAZN. It's a big thing for Matchroom. So the fact that these fighters are essentially, these guys are essentially blackballing him. What impact does that have on Eddie going forward and what he wants to do with DAZN and Matchroom? What impact do you think that has?
That's a massive impact because I'm pretty sure in whatever plan or projections they had, Canelo versus plan was part of that plan. And it not being part of that plan anymore would have made some sort of hole because Eddie wants to be known as that guy that puts the best fights on, right? So he wants to say that put Undisputed on, which didn't happen obviously with AJ and Fury. Okay, cool. At least I got Canelo and Plant that could still happen. Now that's gone. That's PBC now, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it makes it's kind of taken away a bit of light from Eddie, in my opinion. Because even myself, I find myself watching less and less Eddie Hearn interviews than I used to watch before.
Do you?
Yeah, because he was the guy that we were all kind of leaning on to
I feel like he's doing less.
Yeah, I think he's like, he's not doing as much for sure because you know, some of these things that are kind of falling through for him, innit? But I think as well, maybe he had to take a bit of a step back. That wasn't even a dig. That was actually just
okay.
As in, I think we had to step back a bit just purely because he's thinking maybe I need to change my approach a bit. Because you have to remember, he went in so heavy for about 5 to 6 months on one sole aim. Every single week he was getting 2 to 3 interviews, like, and it all just fucked up. It's going to take a hit on him regardless on his perception. So he might just want to, you know, take that catty stocks and rebuild it a bit, like, you know, just frame himself correctly so it doesn't look like a joke, man.
You know, we've already mentioned that we all foresee Canelo coming through that fight with relative ease, right? Don't think there's much else. I mean, we'll cover it more closely when the fight comes around, but
there was some weird stuff though that was going on with that though. Like Canelo was talking that some at first I'll go into plant quite heavily. I'm looking back, Canelo was asking some weird things.
Apparently does this quite a lot, and we saw it with the whole Billy Joe kind of stuff.
Well, he basically said, if you get injured or something, you have to pull out, I still get paid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hear that. But I get why Canelo's saying that though. Like, look at these current fights people putting out because of COVID. He's saying I still want to get paid if anything happens to you. And a lot of
you want to get 40 M's to go and fight something.
Everyone that gets COVID is getting COVID. Does that make sense?
Bear in mind, Canelo's getting a payday, like a payday high here. Yeah. Give him a payday high to go fight some like bum. That sounds.
Why is this a payday high? Is this just because of?
This is how it's paid. Because you come to Al Heyman, you know what happens with Al Heyman's checks come up.
But it's also
because it's the undisputed.
And the first ever undisputed at super middleweight. So history.
And it's on PBC, so the checks come up.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one, mate.
Canelo, you know how we do over here.
Yeah.
Over here.
Canelo's over here. Canelo's over here is gonna get a chain and a Lambo with it.
I'm sure Canelo goes straight back to Eddie, mate.
Yeah, of course. He's got the D&G thing going on over there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's talk next about. My mind's gone blank. What are we talking about next? Though I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to do Tyron Woodley yet. I wanted to do
Tommy Fury.
No, there was what did you just say?
Tommy Fury.
No.
That's how Arnold Ramos is his name.
There's something else we need to talk about. Pacquiao.
You guys.
Pacquiao. Pacquiao.
Hey, you got it right, man. The fact that you stomped, that you forgot and stopped, that's literally how Pacquiao's kind of fading out. He's
Pacquiao needs to pack his bags and leave boxing. I'm joking. No, it was.
Pacquiao needs to pack his bags. Pacquiao, yeah?
Pacquiao must go.
Listen, it was always going to be. We were all looking forward to the Spence fight, right? And it was building up to be one of the fights of the year. Just in terms of like anticipation and stuff like that. Obviously it didn't happen, and I guess it's these fights that where the someone steps in, they always seem to cause like these upsets, right? I'm not too sure historically. Maybe it's just a bit of bias there, seeking in you recognize it a bit more when someone steps in and beats someone. We've seen it with like Andy Ruiz. Who else was recently someone stepped in and beat someone?
Lee, what's his name? Lee thingy. What's his name?
Who?
On the fight forum card
in the fight camp, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. On fight camp. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I forgot the name that you talk about. But yeah, it does feel like a lot of this is like happening. So I understand that it could be quite difficult. You prepare all camp for a certain fighter, and then what was it, like 2 weeks? I can't remember how long it was before. How 7 days was it? 11 days, yeah. So 11 days before you're supposed to fight someone, you having to fight someone completely different. How much does that play into Pac's defeat, Naeem?
I mean, a lot. It does play a lot because Ugas is orthodox and Spence is southpaw. So you're facing a right-hander now instead of left-hander. So everything changes now. The way you fight, your fleet are now going to clash instead of before you're facing a guy who fights with the same hand as Pacquiao. And also Spence is more of a guy, he can fight at range and he can fight on the inside, whereas Ugas is a guy that he likes fighting. He's Cuban, likes fighting on the outside. He's not that great on the inside. So for Pacquiao, that was an advantage because for him it's like, okay, if I can get on the inside, I can do some damage here because he's not that well versed. More than Pacquiao's better there. But all in total, it was detrimental to him, but that wasn't the main reason he lost. It was just age. If you watch the fight, it was more just that's not a prime Pacquiao. That was someone way past it. And like you guys said, he needs to pack it in and call it a day on a good career.
So do you think he is going to pack it in?
Pacquiao, pack it in.
Pack it in.
You heard it here first.
I don't know if we are going to be the person. I feel like a lot of people may be using that. I'm not too sure. I don't want to doubt anyone's creativity and originality, but to me, it just feels a bit too, easy. But who knows? Who knows? Do you guys think this is going to be the last time that we see Pacquiao? Then is this, obviously we all know about his political ambitions. So could it be that? All right, he's done with boxing now, and you don't think so? He's going to be back.
Yeah, I think he's going to be back because
Mayweather exhibition fight.
No, I think what it is. I think to answer your question, I think he just didn't really make the money he should have made, didn't it? I think he's going to retire literally because he gets retired. Essentially, he didn't take too much damage. He was an old man in there, and Spence would have retired him, quite badly, quite brutally, and that would have sent him on packing. But he's quite annoying actually. He's come out after the fight and said, "Oh yeah, this was the easiest fight of my career. I should have been beating him, but my legs were cramping up. So yeah, he needs to run that back. He wants to run it back." And it's like at the same breath here, I'm seeing a video of this guy with his eyes closed up, and his wife is literally spoon feeding him, thinking, "Is this guy sick or something?" Like what's like? I can't lie. I'm sorry. Yeah, other fighters get shot and attacked for having excuses. Manny Pacquiao's had so many excuses, and no one actually gets onto it. It's actually ridiculous at this point. A guy literally
he's become known for it now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Excuses.
You guys outboxed. I actually called that though. I'm actually so pissed off we didn't do the rankings of the league table because I would have definitely kept right in on that. I said, yeah, the minute that swapped, I said, yeah, you guys are winning that all day long. I said Pacquiao's legs are fucked. We know they're fucked. He's every single fight for the last couple of fights. From that round 5 in, you got that big guy in his camp rubbing his legs, like trying to massage it because he's got cramps in his calves. So I knew you guys are gonna find outside and it's gonna box circles, and Pacquiao's not going to move. His legs are gone. Easy. It was an easy fight all day long. And on top of it, there was something really weird going on with Lucas's arm. But
his bicep was swollen, didn't it?
Yeah, I thought he had a bicep tear, but he was jabbing the head off Pacquiao quite comfortably. So guess not.
And the thing about the excuse with the legs, like, yeah, okay, you can say, but my legs were cramping up, but that is father time. That's what happens when you're, how old is Pacquiao? 42, 43? Yeah, that's what happens when you're like boxing. Unfortunately, Manny, as well, I don't need to tell you this. Like, you are a seasoned pro and you've had 60, 70 fights or whatever you've had. You know, you need your legs to fight. So if your legs are cramping up whilst you're fighting, mate, that's not something that, that's just to do with your physicality. And physicality has a lot to do with winning boxing matches. So if you can't get your physicality right, or if you've lost your physicality and your legs have gone, unfortunately, you're going to lose boxing matches. You're going to lose fights. So I'm not really hearing that as an excuse, to be honest, because you're a 43-year-old man fighting. How old are you guys? Like 30?
35.
Is he 35? Okay. But still, I mean, significant age gap there, especially as you get older. The years matter a lot. So, yeah, man, just didn't really want to hear the excuses from Pacquiao, to be honest. I think you're probably right. He probably hasn't made, and God knows how many people he is feeding. You know what I'm saying? Like
country, like he gives half his money.
Literally a whole country, right? So,
and don't forget he had big tax issues in America until Uncle Heyman came and cleared it up for him.
Yeah. So he's probably paying that shit off. He's probably paying all of that shit off. So I understand it. He wants to get these paydays, and I think everyone must have been. He must have been. Did he get because Spence pulled out? I'm guessing he's not going to get the same amount of money as he would have for fighting Spence, right?
I've got an assumption the pay-per-view would have been dead because they still. I'm surprised that still stayed on pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's it. But it's Pacquiao is a pay-per-view fighter, though, isn't it?
Oh come on, man! Like, who cares to watch him versus you guys?
How many people bought it?
250.
Oh,
250. Is that good? Is that good?
In this day and age, it's decent numbers.
For Pacquiao, no.
Pacquiao's bad, in all fairness. Pacquiao versus Spence probably would have done at least 700-800.
Right. So he's probably made a lot less money than. So he's probably thinking with all these things, that have, he's lost this fight that he could have got a massive payday from. He's fighting Untitled. Yeah, exactly. Now he's fighting someone who's like, a lot to prove as well. Nothing to lose, really. These fights are always tough. Obviously, Errol Spence must probably been, massively devastated by that as well. He still wants.
He comes back. I don't know if he's coming. I heard that. I saw about he had a tear in his retina. But they're saying
I want to ask you guys, Errol Spence, well, damaged goods. What's going on with his health?
Yeah, I don't know if he might be done, but apparently that tear was caused possibly from the accident. It's just eventually
being found.
Disgusting. There's no to this day. I always say to myself, there's absolutely no way he could ever be the same fighter he was before the accident. No,
no way. Against Danny.
Danny though, like
you got Danny's gonna chin check you regardless.
I don't know, man.
If you have anything,
could it be though that these things? I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but do these things happen over time? He's sparring still. I don't know what precautions they take during Spence's sparring, but he's probably training really hard. He's probably sparring hard. Are these things that can happen over the course of a training camp? It's been like 2 years since the accident, right? So, sorry,
it must be.
Yeah. So, like, could it be that these things creep up on him? Maybe I don't want to put it out into the world or anything like that. But
they insinuated, to be fair, they literally insinuated that after from the 2 training camps and then the hard fight, obviously with Danny, between that might have that's that underlying issue with his retina that possibly happened from the crash. That just didn't come to read itself.
And doesn't he struggle to make weight as well?
He does at 147 a bit, but he's never actually struggled on the scale. But you can tell he's boiling down. But in saying that, since the crash, he's been at weight and he hasn't blown up since. You can see he changed his life around in the sense of he's gonna start taking boxing more seriously. Like the guy he was leaving no stone unturned for Pacquiao. I honestly feel like God save Pacquiao.
I don't know if Pac will see it that way, but yeah,
at least a couple broken last ribs because Spencer's gonna go there and go to his body with someone whose legs can't move. That just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It was interesting because obviously before this Errol Spence fight, right? Everyone was doing the conversations. Oh, if Pac beats Errol Spence, does he now have like a better, not a better fighter than Mayweather, but is he does he have the better resume? Does he have the better career?
Timeless, better.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, now you've gone and lost to Ugas. So it's like we can't even. Why were we even entertaining this discussion? We should have just let them fight. And then you can have the discussions afterwards, but it just seems all a bit pointless now, doesn't it? But for such a great fight, if it was to end now, it is such a sour note to end it with, right? Because you want these fighters to end on a high. You want them to sail off on the sunset. Like obviously on this podcast, we're a huge proponent for go and get your bag, go get your money, and then get out as soon as possible. Like we know. As much as we want to be entertained, none of us are going to sit here and be like, yeah, go and fight a little bit longer and risk your health. Like we all want people to get paid, make as much money as possible. But it is sad to see that someone who does seem like, not that I'm sure he ain't fucking short of a few quid. Do you know what I'm saying? But he does seem like he is fighting now just to get that extra payday, you know, and make the money that he feels like maybe he should have made, or maybe made bad financial choices. And you never want to see anyone in a ring, especially as someone as great as Pacquiao, where you know, maybe not as good as Mayweather, right? But in terms of what he's achieved in the sport, I mean, he's got to be in your top 10, right? Top 10, 15 fighters of all time.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's talk about let's to finish. Let's talk about the YouTube. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Tommy Fury either. But from what I heard,
the whole of today because I still have to watch that nonsense.
Really,
I'm so vexed.
Bit farcical, really, right?
It makes boxing look like such a joke, man.
All intents and purposes, I don't quite know what to make of this whole Jake Paul thing, right? Because I want to say that what he has achieved in the sport, is mad.
Yeah, no, it is.
Like, it's crazy what he's actually. And I know Tyron Woodley's not a boxer, but he's still a fighter. Yeah, you know what I mean? He's still a fighter. So I don't know. Is there some contention over scorecards? Some people are thinking maybe Tyron Woodley won, or did Jake Paul win that convincingly?
Tyron Woodley didn't win.
Jake won.
Jake won. Okay. Yeah, he didn't win, but
it was a poor quality fight, was it?
Yeah.
It was. I'm more annoyed with Tyron Woodley.
Right.
Not Jake. I'm annoyed with him because he had at least 2 or 3 points. He had Jake hurt a lot, and it could have closed the show. But for some reason, I don't know if it was because it was staged or because Tyrone is not a boxer. He would hurt him and he would move back, and then he would just, he wasn't throwing much basically.
It was a low output fight.
Huh?
It was a low output fight.
Yeah, very low. But yeah, even in MMA apparently, like that's just how he fights. So I don't know. But I said like, if you slapped an amateur boxer in there and he got Jake Paul hurt like that, it would have been done, in my opinion.
That should be
any level pro fighter. Say that again, Sams?
In round 4, that should have been classed as a think out.
Yeah, that should have been. Yeah, he fell down. The ropes held him up. So
yeah, Tyron Woodley was. I watched his press conference afterwards. He was talking about the ropes. Yeah.
It was a knockdown basically, but the ropes held him up.
But won, and that's I can't lie to you, man. The minute you've actually gone in, and actually gone to points with Jake Paul, and you are a seasoned legend in the striking or MMA world, you've lost, man. I'm sorry, you've lost 5 people.
Shocking.
Yeah,
you should be getting that guy out of there regardless.
In order to win that fight, he has to stop Jake Paul anyway, right? Because like people are just gonna have like that underdog bias where it's like, even though Jake Paul was the favorite for this fight.
Yeah, he was because he's been knocking people out, and everyone's like trying to boxer.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? Hats off to Jake Paul, like, for all the discredit he gets about he's not a boxer and whatever. He really is like dedicated himself to it, and he just beat Tyron Woodley. That is, even though he's not a boxer, he's a seasoned MMA fighter. Like at the end of the day, he should not be doing what he's doing.
He's a former world champion as well, so
yeah, absolutely insane. Like I don't like the Paul brothers, right? But I've got respect for what the fuck they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Because
it's all mad.
They're putting in the graft as well, so it's not like they're cheating. They're not cheating.
Yeah.
They're putting in the graft, and they're doing something that's unprecedented, really and truly. Never been done before. And it's interesting to see what happens next, because obviously Tommy Fury fought in the as well. Right, I didn't watch it either. I don't really know what to think of Tommy Fury. I don't know what level he is. I don't know.
You know what it is? Before we even talk about Tommy Fury, I have to take my hats off to him, because at the very least he acknowledges that he's shit. And I'm happy. Because
who acknowledged it?
Tommy Fury. He said, like, I've got so much more to work on.
Okay.
Like, because they were asking him like questions. Now they normally ask like, who's next, blah blah blah. And he was just like, I've got so much to work on. I'm not even close to being as good as I should be, etc. So I can respect that, because that fight was shocking. Because he was the person he was fighting is what, 5-3 in MMA and 0-1 in boxing.
Yeah.
And it's 5'7". Tommy Fury 6'1", 6 foot.
So how did it finish?
But
It's all right.
points.
By the way, that fight
It went to points.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And the fight was moved to 4 rounds as well.
Yeah. I'm glad that they moved because the fans started booing in round 3. So I'm glad that they moved it to 4 rounds.
I do worry a bit about Tommy Fury. Not worry about in the fact that I'm concerned about him because I don't really give a shit about him. But
all right.
In terms of like his career, I just wonder: is this kind of like, have you been sucked into Molly May's? Sorry, Sam, you don't have to comment on this because I know you've got allegiances. But have you been sucked into like Molly May's kind of world here, where social media is everything, and I'm not trying to be harsh, but you're a fighter at the end of the day, and are you being dragged into a world where you are catering to like a YouTube community? You're not looking after your fundamental boxing career.
Lewis,
after this, I wonder where he goes.
He's not a boxer, mate.
I was gonna say that's what I was gonna say.
Who? Tommy Fury?
He's not. He's not. He claims he's a boxer because his brother's a boxer. He's someone who just hangs around the gym because his brother.
But he's a professional boxer.
Yes.
Yeah. No amateur pedigree.
What serious boxer? Yeah. That's actually taking boxing seriously. Goes on Love Island. That's yeah.
But he said he was a boxer.
Yeah, because so did all the football players that go on there.
Semi-pro.
The season started a long time ago. What they doing on Love Island?
I think he should be more in that Molly Way world.
Okay, fair enough. Fair, that's an interesting perspective. So I'm thinking that he's a serious boxer, right? I'm seeing John Fury. He seems to be taking his son's career quite seriously.
From time his older brother said that he was 50-50, it should have been known that was done. The guy that said you and Jake Paul are 50-50.
The guy that built Tyson was Peter Fury, not John. I don't know why he trained with John. He should have trained with Peter if he was being serious. Trained with Peter Fury because Peter Fury can make a good fighter.
To be fair, John Fury loves a bit of YouTube as well, doesn't he? So
they know, man. They know that Tommy Fury is not really here for that. If I was Tommy Fury, to be honest with you, mate, your missus just became the creative director of PMT. Bro, you better go and get a line on the Boohoo Men or whatever.
Get your modeling up, B.
Yeah, and do that. Because this
stop the YouTube channel. Stop doing YouTube and that.
No, you don't need this kind of smoke, man. Your missus is making serious bread, man.
That Molly May money, yeah?
Trust me. Okay, right.
Molly Mayweather. I'm telling you, that money is long.
Listen, you see that social media money is long. You seen Sam's Dior jacket?
Oh my god.
Every day I wake up, I look at a picture of Samson. I'm really trying to get like him, man.
How about 3 pictures on Instagram, bro?
Bro, all 3 of them. I only got memories in my head trying to be like
you're just swiping it in your brain. On the real. God. Anyway, on that note, guys, let's wrap it up. Like I said at the start of the podcast, we will be resorting to Sunday evening recordings live. So if you do want to join live, you can join us on a Sunday evening on our usual YouTube channel and Twitter and stuff like that. So feel free to tune in there. If not, 100%. And as usual, the podcast will still be released on Apple and Spotify. It will just be released on a Monday from now on. So this will be the last time that it won't be on a Monday. And I know this is going to confuse you guys. We're recording on a Monday and it's Tuesday. Listen, one-off, right? Absolute one-off, okay?
Follow the Twitter account and you know what's going on.
Yeah, follow the Twitter account, Ringside Fracas, and you will know exactly what's going on. All right, guys, take it easy, and we will see you again on Sunday.
Sweet.
Peace.